Did you know that 70% of people feel overwhelmed when it comes to managing their finances? If you've ever wondered if you need a financial advisor, you're not alone. But before you spend thousands on fees, here are 7 key questions to help you decide. Welcome back to Simply Money. Knowing whether or not you need a financial advisor is important because financial planning is crucial. But not everyone needs a financial advisor. By the end of this video, you'll know whether hiring an advisor is right for you or if you can handle your finances on your own. Many people struggle with budgeting, investing, and planning for retirement. Financial advisors can offer expert advice and guidance, but they also charge fees. The dilemma is paying for professional advice worth it? Or can you manage your money effectively on your own? There's 7 key questions you need to ask yourself before deciding to hire a financial advisor or do a DIY financial plan. Question number 1 that you need to ask and know is, do you have a clear financial plan? See, if not, an advisor can help set goals. Now, if you've watched my channel at all, you know that I don't believe that you need a financial advisor. And if you do, it should be somebody who is a fiduciary and charges a fee-only service, that each time you meet with them, they charge you a fee. They're not charging you a fee for AUM, assets under management. Because when you first start out with a financial advisor, a 1% fee may not seem like a lot on $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. But when you start building your nest egg into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, that 1% that they're charging on a regular basis is adding up so much. So you want to make sure you have a fee-only financial advisor if you decide to go that route. Good financial advisor can help. They're very good at setting plans for you, aligning your financial plan with your financial goals and taking steps to keep you aligned to that. So question 1 is, do you have a clear financial plan? Now let's look at question number 2. Are you confident in your investment decisions? See, many people second guess themselves, and that's where they get in trouble. They go ahead and they make an investment, and then they begin second guessing themselves, and the market gets a little shaky. It's volatile. It happens. We've done several videos on the ebbs and flows of the stock market, the frequency of how corrections happen and bear markets happen. When you see 10 to 19% corrections almost on a yearly basis, when you see 20+% corrections on at least once a decade basis, you're going to see big drops. And if you're not confident of your decisions, you're going to second guess it. And that's where people lose money. If you are not confident, you may need a financial advisor. Make sure you get an advisor who's an educator, somebody who's teaching you, not just telling you what they think you should do, that they're allowing you to ask questions and they're educating you about the various aspects of investments. Because see, a good thing is maybe you hire a financial advisor, but it's only short-lived. You do it for a few years as you're gaining knowledge, as they're helping educate you, then you manage it yourself and save lots of money down the road. Question number 3, do you struggle with budgeting and saving? Because if you can't budget and save, you're going to struggle to invest. Really, the first step I always tell people when it comes to financial freedom is you need to get on a budget, because you want to make sure that every dollar that you're giving an assignment, and it doesn't matter what you're investing in, if you're going into debt, if you're not calculating your savings and you're not keeping track of your spending and your budget, an advisor can help structure a plan for you. If you struggle with budgeting and saving, a financial advisor can be a great asset to helping you learn that and get that skill down. Number 4, are you prepared for major life changes? Maybe getting married, having kids, retirement, weddings, college, all sorts of life changes happen. And a financial advisor can help you plan for these in advance and help make adjustments as these things happen. Because life is not static, it's changing. And a financial advisor can give you a neutral perspective on these changes and how to best keep them aligned to your changing financial goals. Question number 5 is, do you have complex financial needs? What's your tax strategy? What's your estate planning? Do you have business finances that may require expertise? There's a lot of different nuances that you may have to consider. Some people, their finances are very straightforward and easy to deal with. Others have very complex situations. People with high wealth, maybe they have to deal with estates. People with a company, they have business finances to manage, tax strategies. All these are very important because saving for retirement is crucial, but your tax strategy within retirement is just as important because you can eat away at that savings really quick if you're not in a good, optimized tax strategy. So, a financial advisor can definitely help you with these situations. Now, question number 6 may seem a little silly, may seem obvious, but are you emotionally attached to your money? Advisors provide an objective perspective. And what do I mean by emotionally attached to your money? We're kind of all attached to it. We worked hard for it. But some people really don't have an attachment. They're willing to just let it go. They spend it, they don't track it, they're not really concerned about it. Other people have a really sharp idea and a strong psychology about money, and they watch every penny where it's going, but maybe they're too concerned and they're too conservative because they're so scared. What is your attachment emotionally to money? Understand, are you willing to take some risk? Because minimum risk for great reward is definitely something that is required for building wealth. You're not going to find something that's 100% safe. I even tell people banks aren't 100% safe, especially now when they're looking at reducing or removing the FDIC. You used to think, oh, I can put $250,000 in a CD, it's safe. If the bank defaults, the FDIC insurance will cover that, I'm good to go. And maybe that's not going to be there anymore. There's an emotional attachment to money. You have to understand your emotional connection to money, and a financial advisor can be a great objective perspective for you. And question number 7, do you know the cost of hiring an advisor? Don't go into it blind. Make sure, I encourage, if you're going to use an advisor, a fee-only advisor. But there are people who don't understand. They get their statement and they're like, what's this money that's coming out of my account every month? That's your management fee. That's why a mutual fund, which is an actively managed fund, has a management fee. Those managers who are deciding what to invest in on a monthly basis are charging a fee. So they're taking that out of your investment. Again, at $1,000, $10,000, it may not seem like a lot, but when they're taking that 1% out, when you're putting 100, 200, or plus $1,000 in there, that amount adds up tremendously, and that's money that's not compounding for you, hindering your wealth producing ability. So know the cost of your advice. Here's some of the most critical portions of these questions. Do you understand the fees and the value of an advisor? Many people don't realize that fees can eat at their returns. Some alternatives, you can look at robo-advisors, self-education, or as I teach a lot on low-cost index and ETFs. Those are options that can save you thousands of dollars. Here's to me the biggest element. If you are so afraid because of your lack of knowledge, your fear, your emotional connection to your money, whatever the case may be, if you're so afraid of investing that you don't invest, it is far better to pay a small fee to allow an investor to provide you advice and to get investing. Yes, you may not make as much as if you were doing it on your own and did it well, but you're definitely going to do way better than if you don't do it at all. To me, it's get the education, manage it yourself, and invest in good, diversified, low-cost index funds, ETFs, and then you will build your wealth. Second alternative is get somebody as an advisor to help you to begin investing, and at least you're still investing in building wealth. The worst option is not to do anything because you don't want to pay fees, but you're afraid to do it yourself, and then you're just neutralized and your money's sitting in a bank, losing purchasing power because of the power of inflation. If you've answered no to most of those questions, you might need to consider getting an advisor, or at least building your confidence to where those questions can then be answered yes. And if you answered yes to most of those, you might be able to handle your finances independently. The key is to understand your own needs before making a decision. Have you worked with an advisor? Let us know down below. Was it worth it? Tell the other viewers whether you think it's been worth paying for an advisor for you. Have you been a DIY investor? Share that below. How much do you think you've saved Give an estimate of the amount that you believe you've saved by not paying that fee. And don't forget, the cost isn't just the fee you've paid, but that money that's been paid out has lost its compounding over all those years. If I paid $1,000 20 years ago to my advisor, that's not just $1,000 I lost. That's $1,000 that has not compounded for 20 years, and that's a large number when you begin adding that all up over the years. Share below. If you like this type of video, hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications of next videos, and we'll see you next time on Simply Money.